Coming into today, pretty much my main three that I'm watching is Tesla, NVDA, and Apple, right? So what I like about NVIDIA is, right, we pretty much gapped up and we're sitting above all-time highs, right? So you can look for a pullback long off this all-time high, 191.05. That's something I would think. But the more conservative play is to pull back to this 189.40, right? Because we can fill this gap. So if we fell this all-time high on the retest, I wouldn't be surprised because really it's a gap fill. So the more conservative play always is just waiting for the gap to fill. So that's something I'm watching. Tesla, if you zoom out here on the 1 hour, this is dead smack in the middle of the range. So there's really no setup for me. I'm only liking longs over 445. So that right now it's in between previous day high, previous day low, dead smack in the middle of the range. There's nothing here for me right now. Apple, right, still flirting with this 257.35. So we'll love a pullback long on Apple. Would love a pullback long on Apple. Pretty much my main watch coming into today. Wicks here on Apple. You want to stay away from that. Very volatile. You do not want to be in that. Even NVIDIA, big wicks, big candles, you want to stay away from. These are like news candles. Yeah, I know some people like who take trades right when the bell opens. I don't know how you do that. Literally gambling. Nice. Now, what do I always preach? This is my favorite when we fail this and then we reclaim it. So I'm watching Apple. Buyer stepping up here on Tesla, just 429.45, but dead smack in the middle of the range, at least for me. Yeah, if NVIDIA just takes off, I'm not really watching this. SPY is doing very well. There's some divergence on SPY in the Q. SPY is very strong. 15-minute candle on all three of these names don't look too well, at least for now. Yeah, SPY is gone. Big divergence on SPY and QQQ. Very volatile open. Really all three names. Pre-market, there was really nothing on AMD. It wasn't near my key level, and really nothing on Palantir, just sitting dead smack in the middle of the range. So really just watching these three. Right, obviously not looking to short Apple. Uh, Definitely need a bigger pullback here on a video, something like this, right? Apple, very heavy, right? But if we can reclaim that, get a break and retest, I like that. Past 2 to 3 days, I think 3 days, really nothing on Tesla ever since Monday. Monday it broke over that 445 and it ran, but since then, really nothing. QQQ is falling pretty heavy, pulling back, I should say. It swept its previously high liquidity during pre-market, and now it's pulling back very hard. Yeah, so there's some big divergence on the SPY and the Qs. So clearly Qs is dragging all these things down. So that's something to be mindful of. Yeah, big pullback here on Apple. NVDA gapped up. I would not be surprised if we start consolidating. Yeah, you can see Apple's very heavy. 246, 6 minutes now. Kind of just straight down a little bit. 15-minute on Apple is a big bearish candle. That does not look pretty. So, right, it's easy to, you know, really not get FOMO. And like this does, I don't care about this. I'm not looking to short this name. So like that's already a trade that's eliminated, right? We know our game plan, right? This, right, targeting all-time highs, previous day high, right? That's the shot. SPY is starting to pull back. If SPY pulls back under its previous day high, if it breaks and retests under that, we could see a lot of more downside here on the market. But Q's is pulling back pretty heavy. Last 6 minutes has been straight pullbacks. Here on the video, I preferably want really the pullback long off this 189.40. I feel more comfortable long in this knowing that it filled this gap. Right? This is a valid long, right? I want to see buyers step up here, but I kind of prefer the pullback long off this 189.40 right after it fills this gap. That's something that I do like. That's like more the conservative play. I really like this restore balance. Nothing here on Tesla for me, like I said, until we get over 445. We could see possibly a V-shaped recovery here on Apple. Like it. Let's see. SPY is defending its previous day high very well. Even though it's pulling back, we're still sitting above previous day high. Long off of here, I'm gonna read the price action. I think for me, this is just like an aggressive entry, right? We just have this gap fill right below it. Like I would prefer this. To me, that's just a better shot. It's a more conservative play, right? But a pullback long off here would be valid, right? Targeting high day and so on. But that trade doesn't play out, it works well. The only reason I don't like it now is because Q's is bouncing a little bit and sellers are pretty heavy. All right, that's expected on a video. All-time highs, people are getting out of their position. Like, if people went on to a swing trade off the break and retest off that weekly resistance strength support, like I did, right? People are taking profits, right? So it's really not a surprise. But I want this gap to fill. Like, this is the better trade. I'm patient, waiting for that gap to fill, and then go long off of here. At least for me. Clearly, this 193.1 is the new all-time high, so ignore that. You can see there's divergence here on Tesla a little bit. Dead smack in the middle of the range, so I'm hands off there. But and as long as SPYs and Qs are heavy, I'm not really looking to long off here. You can see buyers are trying to defend this, right? See this wick here, right? Maybe we can get a curl like that. That'd be a good shot, but SPY and Qs is heavy, right? Still bullish, but right. Like if you see a little consolidation here and a curl up, that's a good shot, but I really want this gap to fill. Yeah, on the 15-minute buyers are there's not really a big wick here on the 15-minute of buyer stepping in defending this. This is a trade like I'll pass on. Like you can go long off here. That's what I'm thinking in real time, but I would just prefer this gap fill. I feel more comfortable after this gap fills. Apple's been doing the same thing like 3 days in a row, which is funny. But this is strong, right? You see buyers defending this very well. Buyers are actually really trying to defend this. I think Q's is just a little too heavy, right? Like Q's just broke through lower day, right? This is a valid long. This is a valid long. I don't want it. I'd rather pass this, right? There's a difference between missing a trade and skipping a trade. Skipping a trade just means that you don't believe it's worth the risk, right? I don't like this. It's a good shot, right? It's a good shot, but I don't want it. I want to be comfortable in my trades. I'm more comfortable with this filling the gap, right? That was a good shot, as you can see, right? We saw buyers in real time stepping in down here. Targeting high of day, looking for that. Really, my main watch is Apple. If Apple can get over this 257.35, I do like it, right? We saw this play out. That was a good shot. You take that. But that's my reason why I did not take that, right? Because if this failed, I don't want this to fail. Like, I don't think this is a good entry, knowing that it has a gap right under it, right? Because even if this fails and fill the gap, it's still upside bullish. That's the thing. So pull back long off this all-time high was a valid trade. You can see here on Tesla, right, doing nothing. Dead smack in the middle of the range. Divergence here on the video. Yeah, as of right now, Q's and SPY is pulling back very heavy, especially Q's. At least SPY is still sitting above the previous day high, made a new all-time high, but Q's is very heavy. But that's what's cool. Like, you've seen the video, it's holding up very well. Look to your left, look to your right. These are pulling back. This is holding up very well. Q's is just making new lower days as we talk, right? So kind of just looking for pullback longs off the Q's if you're looking to trade that. Right now, SPY is about to fall back under the previous day high. If we fall under that, retest it to the downside, I can see a lot more coming down. Q's is very heavy, very, very heavy. That would make me confident in this trade, but look at Apple, look at Tesla, right? You can clearly see the divergence, right? Buyers are holding this up. Like I said, I just didn't like this because there's a gap fill right under this. That's just not a good risk for me. So Tesla, I'm looking to short this if we fall under 423.15. That is a very good shot for me. Nothing on, I'm not looking to short this name, Apple. SPY just fell under the previous day high. So that's something. Seeing the divergence in real time though, look at buyers really holding this up. Look at Apple. Apple's gone. Right, if you enter this trade on the video, right, you have to really sit in this at least to the high day hits, let price action develop. We could see a bounce because now, right, Q's is approaching 609.70, its previous all-time high. If you get a bounce there, it's a good shot. The video's holding up very well. That was my reasoning for not taking the trade. Uh, Also like, right, a pullback long on Apple. If you zoom out here on the 1 hour, you'll see that this is like a range. So I do like a pullback long here. Big hold here on the Qs. This 609.7 was a very big hold. straight free fall for Apple. Man, right? We saw this in real time. Pull back long, buyer step in, right? But for me, I've learned like the more conservative play is really that gap fill. So really good shot here that was taken. Apple, I do like that. I really like that. If buyers can step in down there, that would be a really good shot. Higher time frame is still intact, right? Days like this, like we melt to the downside, and people are thinking like shorts or reversals, or we're still bearish. But when you zoom out on the higher time frame, this is really just pullback long entries, right? This was a really good trade if this was taken off this. A gap and go, a dip and rip, right? That was nice. Really good shot. You took that. Yeah, because there's a lot of divergence right now. Like SPY and Qs are heavy, and buyers are defending this very well. So we'll see. Maybe, well, I was gonna say it may be a cash day for me, but we're only 15 minutes into market open. All right, if I can see buyer step in at this 253.90, I really do like this on Apple. Yeah, this 253.90 down here is a very big level. Right, scale out there, right? That push into high a day. Let runners run, see what they'll do. Right, beautiful dip and rip. For me, I just didn't take it. Um, I've lost more trades than I've won when we pull back to a key level and there's a gap right under it. I have lost more than I've won. Right, tracking your own data, statistics is everything. So the more conservative play is just letting that gap fill. Right, different type of setup if it's like a news driven thing, like right at open. But yeah, that was just for me, right? And no FOMO here. I do not care about this. This is irrelevant to me. I'm cash right now. Cash is still a position. So I do not care. I want Apple to like pull back even more to this 253.90. That would be great. That's something that I'd really be looking for. Q is defending his previous all-time high pretty well. Like you see here, right? Last 3 days, there's really been nothing on Tesla. Just sitting in a range. If you zoom out on the 1 hour, you'll be able to see like this is just sitting in a channel, right? And then we're also in the middle of the previous day high and previous day low. Like this is bad conditions, right? There's nothing in here. That's all noise. It's all noise. If we do get under this 423.15, I do like it. May not be much on Apple today. some way, somehow, we do end up getting I doubt it because Apple, but if we get a reclaim over this 257.35, boy, oh boy, do I like that. That's more than a 50% retracement. Right? This was a good shot if you took this, right? But my reasoning behind it is pretty valid. Like I said, I've lost more trades than I've won. Something I was taught is like it's always best to just wait for the gap fill. We're talking about like really the day right after, and then NVIDIA made new all-time highs coming into today, right? That was an aggressive entry down here, right? Good shot. We saw prior to this candle coming in, buyers were defending this. It looked good on the 15-minute. Clearly just see Apple making lower lows, right? Low, low. Big chop here on Tesla. Yeah, days like this, I kind of already know, like, if it might be a cash day or not. So we'll see. I mean, textbook on QQQ. Pull back long off previous all-time high, 609.70, right off the pre-market plan. Like, beautiful. That was textbook. Hmm. Video looks good. Let's see. Yeah, nothing on AMD for me. Oof, big sell-off here on Palantir, right? But dead smack, middle of the range. Nothing in there. I don't care for that. I'm hoping Apple can really continue to fall, to be honest. I know I have to be very patient though, if it does. Nothing on AMD for me. NVIDIA, I'm sorry, Tesla in a range. Very heavy here on Apple. This 253.90 looks good though. If we can step up there, I like it. We're kind of far away. Yeah, this looks good though. Even for a possible swing trade, low key. So I'm watching this, right? This is beautiful, right? Textbook, textbook. I passed on it, right? I don't care. There's no FOMO, right? Don't let FOMO kick in when you see this. The past 2 days, we saw how NVIDIA will reverse on you quick. Uh, this only, well, never mind. Like Apple looks good. Like Apple's actually giving us some clean price action, right? It is moving. It's not consolidating. So, nothing on Tesla. Very unfortunate. Very slow week on Tesla. Very slow week. Like besides Monday, that was it. Apple's falling pretty hard. We're gonna see what happens down here. Yeah, like this is heavy. Spy, spy and Qs are free falling. So the buyers here were very aggressive. Tesla's still trying to hold up, right? Like on the higher time frame, this name is still bullish. Um, I would really prefer, I don't know if we'll get it, but like a fell under this 423.15 to the downside. I do like that. Let's see what happened here on Apple, right? This is like a big on the daily time frame on Apple. This is really like a big bear flag break. Low key, if we break under this 253.90, I don't really want to short this name, but we'll read the price action. We'll see. I do know, right? If we short under this, we're outside of the channel, and we do have the overall market behind us because Q's and SPY is pulling back very heavy. I would love for Tesla to get into this 423.15, but it's just consolidating, so I doubt we will. Oh. Q's keep pulling back to this previous all-time high, but it's holding very well. But SPY is pulling back very heavy, very, very heavy. Really, my main watch here is Apple. I mean, that was my main watch coming into today. Patience pays, right? I don't see this as like I missed this, right? Cash is still a position. I want to have conviction and comfortability in my trades. I do not care about that. I don't. Would have been a really good shot though. I mean, this is like 100% return. Sucks Tesla hasn't set up really. Like Tesla's my favorite to trade. If you can't tell, it just moves the best on the underlying. Like Tesla pays you very well. So I'm looking at Apple right now on the 15-minute and on the daily time frame. It's a very big uh, bear flag break on the daily. This is what you see here, this trend line right here. A lot of built up liquidity, you know, to the upside. This name is still intact to the upside. I want to make that very clear. Apple. If it falls under this 253.90, good shot. Uh, Man, QQQ is defending this 609.70 so well. You watch that in real time, very, very well. Very, very well. Yeah, this just halted for me. I don't know what that was about. I don't know if you noticed that. This halted for me. Like, this literally froze. Like, just crappy on Tesla, right? Very crappy on Tesla. Like, something I'm looking for just because the Qs is holding up is this. Like, this is still intact to the upside on Apple. That's a very intact trade, right? That's very intact. The deeper the pullback, the better, but not looking for that. Like on the daily time frame, you can see buyers stepping in down here. Patience pays. Nothing I see, at least for me. Overall, outside of NVIDIA, everything's pretty choppy. I mean, excluding Apple, right? But we're not looking to short this name, right? You can clearly see just stair stepping lower. That is beautiful. But this is the real trade. Like, man, if we can get this, that's a big RR trade, right? Higher time frame is intact, right? We're trading off the daily, right? We're trading off the daily. So I would love to see this like pull back and see buyers step in. Because what I like about Apple is right, even though this looks like bearish, which clearly it is, it's just a pullback, it's somewhat holding up with SPY, tanking, right? Clearly nothing here. I don't even care about that. And the video was like really the A plus setup today. This is beautiful, right? Pullback long, all time high. We saw in real time our level be respected on the dot. That's beautiful, right? Like I just didn't want like this was the gap fill, right? I didn't want that. Of course, right? I would have liked this if we fell under it, right? Reclaim, went back. That I definitely would have liked. Right. So on the daily time frame, this looks really good on Apple, right? Like if you size accordingly, like scale down tremendously, you can go long here, right? And your stop loss is under this 253.90. That's a valid trade. The deeper the pullback, the better though. Yeah, it's not much. That looks terrible. Yeah, yeah, just a chop all around low key. Like this is beautiful. Like SPY, I mean Q's, defending this previous all-time high very well, right? Buyers are stepping in, defending this, right? We're still bullish, right? So resistance, resistance. We want to see this turn into support. So I'm even watching this, right? I think SPY is just too heavy right now. But this is like a pretty big hold. If we fall under this, we're just back in this channel. This looks good. If we break above this, that'd be a break of structure, clearly, right? So looking at choppy day outside of NVIDIA. Um, right? I would love that. 423.15. That's beautiful. But I'm very happy you guys were able to see this in real time, right? Just playing trades off your key levels, right? Break, right? Pull back long, dip and rip, gap and go, whatever you want to call it, right? This is a 100% trade. This is like for sure 100%. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Like just straight green. That's crazy. That's beautiful though. I want to see that like coming into tomorrow, right? I don't want these names to sell off. Markets rallying, we're making all-time highs. Continue to do so. Like, I love that. You can see this trend line on the daily being respected. I don't trade trend lines, I just use them as context reference points. But the way this is looking is if you go on the daily and look at this, the the body of the daily candle closes has always been above this trend line, right? This is a valid long entry down here, right? We didn't get a deep enough pullback. Um, this is a big, like for Apple, right? This is clean price action for Apple. Compare this to the last 2 days. It's actually very clean. And this is a big move for Apple, right? Look at Tesla. Nothing. Everything across the board is pretty much consolidation outside of NVIDIA. But other than that, um, like I would love something like this. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Going along down here. 704, so I might close up shop at like 8. Typically, yeah. Technically, I should stay till like 8:30 because that's 2 hours. I only trade the first 2 hours, but right? Look at this. Buyers are defending this. We want to see this turn into support on the Qs. Right now, price action is just like slowing down on Qs. So I don't really trade Qs and SPY. And then we're getting a big bounce here on Qs. I mean, I'm sorry, on SPY, big bounce, the 15-minute. And if it had been the ticker all week, if I would have taken this, that would have been 4 trades in a row on NVIDIA. Uh, that's the only name I've traded this week. It's NVIDIA. So we shall see how tomorrow looks, right? Like I would not enter here. Like you're entering near the high of day. Like that's a scalp, but I don't want scalps, right? We want continuation on our trades, right? Entering here, you get that whole move. I really would love for Apple to pull back, and I just want to read the price action at this 253.90. Look at this, right? Resistance, resistance, resistance. Well, turn support here, turn it into support today. That's what you want to see. This is where you take your trade. I just don't trade the Qs or SPY because it just doesn't move that well on the underlying. And I'm definitely not going to trade no zero DTEs unless if it's not Friday, but to each their own. Those zero GTEs are dangerous, bro. And we're chopping around. Like it's holding at a key level, but we're chopping around. Yeah, nothing going on for me here. But I hope this makes sense, right? My thesis on this trade, right? I said this is a valid, pullback long, but this is very aggressive, just knowing that we have a gap fill right under it, right? And the gap fill is not that big, right? This is not a big dollar amount. So for me, the more conservative play was like really a pullback long off this 189.40. If we did not have this gap fill, 100% all day, right? But remember, there's a difference between skipping a trade and missing a trade. I've learned this a long time ago, and I wish I knew sooner, right? Skipping a trade just means you do not believe it is worth the risk, right? It's very important to be able to separate those two things. So I skipped this trade because I didn't believe it was worth the risk, right? There could have been slippage under there. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's got to be a misprint. Yeah, that's definitely a misprint. Oh, yeah, that's definitely a misprint. That's not a real candle. That is definitely a misprint, right? Like patience pays, right? What do we see here, right? We're just stair stepping lower, right? Every dip is getting bought up, right? That's how you know we are starting to trend when every dip is getting bought up to the downside or to the upside aggressively. This is a beautiful stair step lower, right? Nothing. See, I don't expect Tesla to just fall because like overall market is holding up. That's like the only thing. The overall market is holding up. We're pulling back, but we're holding up. I hope that makes sense, right? We're pulling back, but we're holding up. SPY dead smack in the middle of the previous day high, previous day low. There's nothing there. Q's in between previous day high and low, but it is holding this previous all-time high, the 609.70. Yeah, right. This is what we want to see. We want to see buyers defend this, turn this into support, and then look for that higher. This is how you build your swing trades, right? On the higher time frame. Resistance, resistance, big breakout, big displacement, retest, buyer step in here, right? This is how you build your swing trades. Looks really good, to be honest. If we pull back to this cues again, I might take a shot here. Actually, yeah. For a swing trade though, I would pay maybe Monday contracts. Maybe Monday contracts. Looks really good. Actually, never mind. There's red folder news tomorrow, so I don't want to be in a swing trade. I'll take that back. Take that back. Yeah, one of those days. It's all good. Remember, folks, cash is still a position, right? Cash is still trading. Cash is still risk management. Not every day we have to take a trade. We let our trades come to us, right? Let our trades come to us. Patience pays. You get paid for your patience. You get paid for sitting there and doing nothing. Sometimes that is the hardest thing in trading when you're starting. Sitting down and doing absolutely nothing, right? This was a good shot, right? We spoke about this in real time. This was a good shot. From my data, from my experience, I have lost more than I've won on these type of trades, right? So for me, not worth the risk. I'd rather just let that gap fill. Depending on the situation, right? If we failed under this and then reclaim it, different story. Different story. I was hoping we failed. As we know, I've taken the fail like 3 days in a row. So 7-Eleven for me here in Los Angeles. Yeah, nothing sets up. I'm pretty much done for the day. The only thing I'm really watching is Apple. Apple seems to be pretty exhausted. This was a very big move for Apple, right? A name like Apple, very big move. Seems pretty exhausted, but if we can pull back under here, I like it. If we break above this swing high, that's a breaker structure. All right, to the upside. I doubt a name like Apple is going to give us a 50% retracement in a matter of time back over this 257.35, but right, you got to zoom out to get the bigger picture. Like this is still intact on the higher time frame. This looks really good. If you zoom out here on the daily, this looks amazing. I really wanted this. I really wanted this. Hughes is holding up fairly well. Like, in my opinion, if anyone's taking trades up here, you're chasing. Like, you're just chasing. Like, this is FOMO. This is chase. This is you see what just happened, and now you want to be a part of it, right? The move's done. We're done. We already, like, it's done. All right, so if you take a trade up here, literally near this all-time high, that is a terrible risk to reward. Terrible. It's crazy. But something I've said, like in my pre-market videos about Tesla, Tesla could consolidate, as we know, for 3 days, for 4 days. Um, but the day that it breaks out of consolidation, it makes up for the amount of time that it was consolidating. That's the one thing I like. Like Tesla makes up for its consolidation periods, which is pretty cool. It's good to see NVIDIA moving again after like almost 2 months of just sitting in a range on a daily time frame. That's nice. Yeah, Q's is just chopping around, but it is holding its key level, right? It's holding this, right? It's just pure chop. Like there's nothing there. There's no momentum there, right? But as you can see every time, look at our biggest momentum candles. It's when we stepped in to defend this 209.70. That is beautiful. That's what you want to see. All right, if you would have entered here, especially on that 0 DTE, damn, there's like 100% trade. Probably. Definitely, yeah. Strong momentum move to the upside. It's nice. I would look to build for a swing trade here, but we do have red folder news tomorrow. news invalidates technical analysis, so you are gambling if you trade when news comes out, right? So this is the breaker structure here, right? Apple is still intact. It's so funny seeing this trend line because if you go on the daily, every body of the candle close on the daily has been right above this trend line, right? This is how you avoid, getting faked out, right? Some people probably look for a 5 minute ORB, short in this, right? You're building bad habits, right? The bigger trade is like off at key levels, going with the overall time frame, higher time frame context, right? This is still intact, right? Apple's a slow mover, so I don't think we'll get a V-shaped recovery since 257.35. If we did, that would be great, but I don't think we will. We can get a close above this, good breaker structure, right? No longer making lower lows. Broke a swing high. That'd be nice. I don't really trade IWM, but I'm curious. It's not the best price action. Um, you could definitely look for a long here, playing tomorrow's expirations, right? Maybe a good little bear flag break here, right? Something like that, like a continuation. I would not trade this for zero DTEs though. But in real time, this is just what I'm thinking. This is something I will look for. This is a strong level. This is a very strong level, right? Because on the bigger picture, you're looking for this, right? That's beautiful, right? Pull back long. Not the best PA right now, but that's like a beautiful shot. This is big, right? That's very nice. Yeah, I might call it here at 8 o'clock. It's 7:17 for me, so we'll see. And then remember, right? If Qs break this, we are not bearish. Make that very clear, right? In real time, higher time frame, zoom out, we are not bearish, right? Now we'll just be back into this channel, right? We're not bearish. Does that look bearish to you? Not at all, right? I would say maybe we'll get a break of structure, like a lower low, once we fall under this 206.87, right? That would be a break of structure, right? Something like this, that is clearly a break of structure, right? That's when I would look to maybe go short. Other than that, pullback longs is your friend. Like buyers are defending this very well. Nothing here. I mean, this is cool to really see like, dude, Q's is defending this very well, right? Buyers are defending this very, very well. All right, this is how you build your swing trades. They don't look pretty at first, but you let price develop, right? You let price develop. But this looks really good. Like, yeah, we're chopping, but look how many times like these wicks step in, right? Aggressive momentum candles. Look at that, right? Defending the 609.70, right? Don't practice bad habits. People are taking, these shorts under this 5 minute, which, yeah, it's good for a scalp, but you're going short into a key support level, right? And then, people are like, why am I losing every shot that I take, I doubt we'll get it, but if we, I'm really watching this. Like, I really want to pull back to this 253.90 and see what we do down here. I really do. Apple, I believe, moves in sync more so with the SPY. That's just my opinion. Um, Hold on, right? I would say the biggest with SPY. This is the S&P 500. I mean, yeah, clearly these are the big names, right? Hmm. NVDA. Yeah, see, Apple isn't even that. Is Apple even on here? I don't even see Apple on here. Yeah, I think Apple, yeah, moves best with the SPY. Yeah, that's just my opinion. Because SPY is pulling back hard right now, and so is Apple. Right, like, see, something like this is just trusting your level, right? We don't know what's going to happen when we enter a trade. It's not our job to know. But, right, building a position off of here, this is like an uncomfortable set, but you set. As long as we are above 209.70, all this is noise. Your thesis is still valid if you're just looking to go long off here. But see, it's hard to play these because they don't move that well on the underlying. So if you're not playing zero DTEs, you're really not going to get paid that fast and that well. Everybody's pulling back. A little something like that. Like, all this is noise to me, right? The one thing I really want to emphasize on is if it's not near my key level, I do not care. Like, it's all noise, right? Even if you look here and you're a scalper and you're looking to take every trade, I mean, you would have got a nice break retest on Tesla, right? You could target this swing high, right? This swing high. Um, but it's a channel, right? This is low probability setups in a channel. You zoom out on the 1 hour, you see we're dead smack in a channel. 722 for me. I'm just sitting around really waiting for Apple to see what Apple will do. Like, I just want to see if Apple will pull back to this 253.90. Q's is holding up. I like that. Like, if Q's fall right now, it's just because SPY is so heavy. SPY is pulling back very heavy. But if you look at SPY, let me break this down in real time. Okay, let me break this down in real time. One, you see we're back in the channel. That's number one, right? But two, right? Yesterday on the SPY, right, we pretty much went straight up. This is a lot of thin volume, right? This thin volume has to be filled, right? Straight up, straight down is a real thing. So look at all this thin volume, right? These are big bullish momentum candles, right? So we're just filling this, right? This is thin volume that has to be filled. But, right, we didn't want to see this, right? We wanted to see the top of this range, right? Break, hold as a retest, and the continuation higher, right? We don't want to be in this channel. So I think we're still just consolidating before the next leg, higher or lower. But on the bright side, what do we do today? I mean, pretty much a new all-time high, not too far away from it, right? We still open up each day above the previous day high, right? We are still intact to the upside. Yeah, like, I mean, let's look at this on the intraday. Does it look like we're moving? No, we're just stuck in a range, right? Stuck in a range. Only looking at long queues. I mean, Tesla, if we get over 445, which I doubt we are doing that today. That's a big dollar amount. right? This is beautiful. I keep saying, right? This is how you build your swing trades. Wicks do the damage, body tells the story. This is still intact, right? This is still intact. You gotta sit in that, right? Little grab right here, but you gotta sit in that. This is what I'm really just watching Apple. It's kind of the reason I'm still sitting here. I just want to see if we get this pullback long here. Momentum's very dead though on Apple. And I hope the really me breaking down in real time behind this trade makes sense, right? I'm very happy we saw this together in real time, right? Really the pullback long, buyer step in, defending this before we got this candle, right? These two candles, I said you see buyer stepping in aggressively. The 15-minute looked good as well, but just right under this gap, it wasn't worth it to me with this gap fill right under it. That's something I want you to note, right? There's a difference between missing a trade and skipping a trade, right? That is something I think that'll help a lot with trading psychology, right? I think that's how FOMO kicks in because you feel like you missed out, right? I do not feel like I missed out on this move. Not at all. Because now that FOMC is over, I'm going back into my trades a little bit heavier on the heavy side, my normal position size. So, right, I'm like, for me, it's always risk management first before I enter a trade. Always. Because, right, let's say we go long off of this and we fail, the thesis is still valid to the long side, but the market is just filling its objective, right? Filling its gap. Statistically speaking, gaps are filled within really the first 48 hours. Almost 7:30 for me here. Like I said, Apple's really the main reason why I'm sitting here. Most likely a cash day for me though, about an hour into the session. Remember, patient pays. Not every day is a trading day. This is my first cash day in a while. Um, so yeah, hope this breakdown helps, right? Seeing what I'm seeing in real time, right? Why we didn't take our trades, why we skipped a trade, not miss a trade, skip the trade, and so on. Momentum was very strong here. Um, and then Apple, right? This is just a healthy pullback. If you zoom out here on actually, I'll show you before I leave. Right? This is Apple, right? We're in this channel, right? There's nothing in there, but we are still bullish on the higher time frame, right? Still bullish on the higher time frame, right? Even if we fell under here, we are still intact to that, right? We're still intact for that. So I'm gonna sit around, wait for Apple to develop. Um, but yeah, this is something I'm looking for, like something like this, right? A pullback long entry off of that. That's very valid on Apple, right? I don't care about anything in the middle of this channel, right? We still haven't taken out all-time highs. We have a lot of liquidity sitting up here. Price should gravitate back up here. So we'll see, right? We'll see, but you got to zoom out to get the bigger picture, right? If we fell under this, I wouldn't be surprised because, right, look at this trend line, right? Look at all these wicks, right? This is a lot of built up liquidity, right? This trend line's being heavily respected. This is a lot of built up liquidity. See, we're getting that trend line break today. Um, Something like this is valid, right? But since Apple's a slow mover, and obviously I wait for strong displacement, like I can't take that unless there's strong displacement, right? Momentum picks up. If it's just a slow break, I'm gonna pass on that. But I'm really looking for a pullback long entry here. Yeah. So I'm gonna sit around for Apple for a little bit, but I'm gonna call it a day here. Um, Hope this live trading helps, right? Just want you to see what I'm seeing, right? Thinking out loud, why I'm missing trades, skipping trades, so on, right? Look at Tesla. This is nothing but noise, right? If you're locked in on the 1 minute and you're looking at this, these look like setups, right? I don't even want to look at this on the 1 minute. Let's see. I'm curious. Like, golly, geez Louise. Like, that looks terrible, right? So, yeah, gonna call it a day here. See you guys tomorrow.